Hello everybody and welcome back to the channel. Well, for today's discussion, I figure we'd start at the bottom and work our way up on the Vector W8 you see behind me. What I'd like to start with discussion-wise is the wheel and tire package. 30 years later, everybody seems to have an opinion of the wheel and tire package that's on the car, but for its time it was pretty revolutionary. So I'd like to cover some of what that is and what it was back when it was developed. Forgive the appearance of my tires. I'm currently performing a little annual maintenance. I've just sprayed them with a preservation product that I've used on them for the past 30 years. It's done a pretty good job of preventing them from weather checking over all this time. These are the original tires that came on the car back in 1992. These tires are the result of a collaboration between Michelin and Vector Aeromotive. They were very special for their time. Vector Aeromotive partnered with Michelin to develop a tire that was capable of handling the extreme top speeds of the Vector W8 in the mid-1980s. Back 30 years ago, a Z-rated tire was as good as it got for exotic car speed ratings. Later, W, Y, and Special Y were introduced, but this was well after Michelin developed the XGT Plus for the Vector W8. Michelin took on the challenge of creating a very special tire just for the W8. Their goal was to produce a tire that was capable of 250 miles per hour, something that was unheard of in the mid-1980s. Michelin borrowed pre-production car number 2 from Vector to assist with the weight, balance, and downforce calculations to achieve the goal. The result was a tire that was only guaranteed by Michelin to attain the top speed of the Vector W8 when used on that specific automobile. They would only guarantee the tire to 200 miles per hour for any other automotive application, making it the first tire ever rated for 250 miles per hour. It was the first of its kind. It's a directional tire. Depending on where it was used in the vehicle, it had markings for the rotational direction of the tire. The tire had to be mounted with its rotation direction in mind to cope with the stresses that it would see under load. Michelin cascaded this technology down to smaller tire sizes in the XGT Plus lineup, which provided tires to the masses that were capable of 200 miles per hour. A huge stride in tire technology for the time. Similar to the tires, the wheels themselves also had to be very unique and very specific for the Vector W8. The wheels were sized larger than just about any other car at the time in the mid-1980s. Most cars, the largest diameter wheel you could get was about 15 inches, so Vector Aeromotive pushed the W8's wheel size to 16 inches, which at the time was a first for an exotic car. Years later, manufacturers increased sizes to 17, 18, 19, 21, and 22 inches, but for its time, the 16-inch wheel diameter on the Vector W8 was very unique. I know many young people on the internet always say that they would put a larger wheel on the Vector, but the tires and wheels were proportionate to the design of the car. When you place a modern wheel and tire on a Vector, it gives it a cartoon donk look that's rather ridiculous. Personally, I think the factory wheels and tires complement the W8's design perfectly. Like the tires, the wheels themselves had to be capable of handling the stress and strain of supercar speeds. They also had to be safe. High-speed impacts with potholes and other road anomalies dictated that the wheels be very strong. With DOT testing on the horizon, Jerry and David wouldn't take any chances for an inferior wheel design. Coming up with a unique design led to a need for someone to manufacture the wheels as specified by Vector's engineering team. Jerry and David had settled on a local California legend to produce the W8's production wheel assemblies. These would end up being a 3-piece wheel design with a heavy-duty billet center section with an inner and outer hat that was bolted together to create the wheel. They also have an O-ring press-fit center cap to hide the wheel's lug nuts. 3 finishes were available at the time to customers: a machine finish, a polished finish, and an anodized finish that was a charcoal gray in color. Vector Aeromotive contracted with Boyd Coddington to manufacture the Vector W8's production wheels. They were the first production wheel to have the requirements of being capable of 250 miles per hour while still meeting NHTSA and DOT regulations to match the Michelin XGT Plus's capabilities. I figure I'll try and pick away at items on the vehicle one at a time and go through little things and just explain the reasons for each item being designed, manufactured, and produced the way that it was for this particular automobile. There are a lot of unique products on the car. There are a lot of very special items and first-time items that occurred on this vehicle. Things that had never been done in automotive history, and the Vector was the first one to do them. So, hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. Please hit the like, subscribe, and share buttons. And any of you who can contribute on Patreon, it would be greatly appreciated, as it helps us continue to bring this type of content to you.